Yo, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yo, bro.
What's up? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, dude.
Happy New Year, man.
Did you do anything crazy?
Me and my
What?
9-month pregnant wife. No,
Yeah.
we went to bed at actually, you know what? We stayed up until 11. You
That
know what
is
I'm saying?
kind of crazy.
Forget the
For
haters,
you?
dude. We were deep.
For you, that's wild.
We were deep. We were
Did
watching
you
some
watch?
trashy reality TV. It was lit.
Oh, you weren't watching
which
Ryan
program?
Seacrest.
Ryan Seacrest? No.
Ryan Seacrest New Year's.
Watch the ball drop.
So stupid.
I don't get it. You know, people stand out in the middle of Times Square for like 20 hours just wearing a diaper out there.
I was
You
going to
wear
say, how you
this?
peeing?
You
How you
wear a
peeing?
diaper. People legit wear diapers to that. That's a real thing.
You
A
are
diaper or like a
elbow to
tube
elbow.
that goes down to the ankle that you let it drain?
Let it fizzle.
Yeah, like dude,
Yeah, but then you
I
stand
would probably
in your
sell
pee.
those.
I'm
That's
telling you, I'm
innovation,
thinking, bro. I'm telling you, I think that it's not innovation. It was innovation, but I think it's already made.
It doesn't matter. You just got to be the guy who is providing when the opportunity arises. The need.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
You just you do a little street vendor hot dog, and with every 5 hot dogs you get one of those little leg urinals.
You don't think you don't think those people that go there are already prepared to some degree?
Some are wearing diapers, bro. I just said that.
That's wild.
Well, wait, though,
Imagine
where does
being
the
in-
pee go? Does it just go down? and
right down
on
to the
ground,
street.
right? Yeah, but
Just-
then you're standing in pee. You can't move.
Bruh. Do you,
You need,
care?
like,
Do
you
you
know how
care that
some
your
pumps-
shoes are standing in pee as opposed to having it submerged in your junk and your butt? What would you
That's
care
fair.
more?
That's better. Yeah.
The fuck?
What about
You're
an
in New York
extended
City. You're
hose?
already stepping in piss and poop everywhere. At least it's yours now. What?
I
That is
guess.
that's a wild take, dude. I'm disappointed.
What'd you guys do for New Year's?
We went to my mother's, spent some time there, and then we went to
That's a nice lady.
yes, it is. And then we went to Trish's mother's, spent some time there, and I went to bed early, dude, because I had to. As you know, I've been slacking on the gym a little bit, so I kind of fell into the
You were
new
that
year,
guy.
new year, new me.
New year, new
So
me,
I
dude.
wanted to make sure to hit the gym,
Mm.
see all the newbies there, and
Give 'em a
I
high
feel
five,
really
little tap on the ass. Good hustle. Way to get in
yeah,
here.
dude. I love. I people hate it. I love seeing new people in because I also love seeing how many of them last.
That's a little toxic, but to each their own. I was saying on stream that people really make fun of like the New Year's resolutions these days. You know what I mean? I feel like they catch a lot of hate. And honestly, man, anything that can inspire you to make a change for the better, bro, I'm for it. I don't care if it's the new year. It's like this is like a built-in thing. You know what I mean? It's like the earth makes one full rev. You know what I'm saying? It's fresh, baby. We on a new rev. That's science.
I like it. I think it's been hijacked to be like
For dumb shit.
For dumb shit and for being okay with like not being active, not wanting more, and people
Nah,
are just like,
started
I'll
then.
do it for New Year's. Like, yeah,
Eh.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's fair.
A lot of stuff to do. The best day is right now,
Absolutely.
and I
Second
think
best day?
New Year's Eve.
I was gonna
What?
say
Yesterday.
Yeah,
Is that not what-
no. The best day to start is yesterday. Second best day is
Oh.
today.
Okay.
Third best day is tomorrow. Fourth best day,
Oh.
probably New Year's. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. We're just a little off track.
Oh my gosh. All right. What do you say? We get into this bad boy? I'm excited to talk some plugged.
Abe, what do you got, bro?
All right. Well, we're going to start us off on everyone's favorite segment,
Ho!
and that would be what are gamers mad about in the world today?
Other clap. He's a little angry, bro.
Dude,
He is. He is.
That little guy right there, he's angry.
I love that. I love
I
that.
do love that. Shout out Jim. So this one for starting off the new year, it's kind of cool. It's a little different of an approach here because it's kind of a little bit of self-harm. And that's because
I don't think you can label it like that.
You don't think so?
No,
Okay.
probably not. No, we probably shouldn't.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
They did this to
Minecraft.
themselves. How's that sound?
There it is. Self-inflicted.
So they're complaining about the 2023 Steam Awards. So the Steam Awards, they commenced at the end of the year, and the announcements were made. And there are some ones that make sense that everyone kind of anticipated. Baldur's Gate won Game of the Year, as people probably thought it should. But there's two on here. I'm going to read the descriptions, and then we'll see who won them. And you might be able to understand why they're a little bit angry. And the first one is the Labor of Love Award. So this goes to, this is the description for what this game represents. This game has been out for a while. The team is well past the debut of their creative baby, but being good parents, they are, these devs, continue to nurture and support their creation. This game to this day is still getting new content after all these years.
Okay.
So that's the first one that's kind of suspect on the list.
And who won
And
it?
that's because it went to Red Dead Redemption 2. And Rockstar actually announced in 2022 that there would be no future updates to the game for the rest of its existence.
I got a question.
Okay.
Go on.
Is this fan voted?
Ah, yes. There's the self-inflicted wound.
There it is. They're morons. They were like, "Hey, I'm voting. This game was really good. This game was literally game of the year when it came out. I'm going to vote for that because obviously it deserves an award. It just wasn't appropriate."
Correct.
All
and
right.
then they complain that it won the award.
Right. Well, it's
Why-
easier
why
to
did-
do
Bit of a
that
circular
than
issue.
read the instructions, Abe, and vote appropriately. Way easier to just complain after the fact, bro.
I feel like this award category is also very similar to like community, like dev support and community, whatever
Mhm.
category that was. Because
Think-
if it's a labor of love, you're listening to the people and what they want added, and I feel
Yeah.
like, what was that other
I think the
category?
emphasis is specifically for this one is the difference is the emphasis specifically on like well after like release.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like significantly continued beyond.
So what are they mad about?
Well, I mean,
Well, they voted for a game that didn't have any continued support beyond 2022.
yeah,
And this was an award
is
for
a 2023
2023. So
award.
there was not an
Yeah.
ounce of continued support for this game during this year. But the reality is people just voted for RDR2 because it was a great game. And so like when they're looking through Steam and they're just like trying to pick their votes, right? They see that game. It was the greatest game that came out that year for sure.
Yeah.
And they just voted for it. But it
Okay.
wasn't appropriate for this. That makes
So
sense.
they're mad.
Well, people are mad.
they're
Okay.
mad online.
They're mad online, dude.
Because it's taking up prime real estate when it should be
Someone
a
else
different.
obviously should have won this award.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They literally should not have even qualified. They should have been a
Doesn't make
nomination.
any sense. Why would it be on there?
Yeah.
Was
I mean,
this like a write-in type category? Or did they have options? Because if they had options, then it's Steam's fault or whoever chose.
there were 5 other choices they could have made. Now I don't know if they make those nominations too. I believe the fans can also decide on the nominees, but there were still 5 other games that should have probably
Yeah.
won because they actually qualify for the category.
Just didn't have that gravitas. You know what I mean?
Do you have the category description of? Can you pull another one of these?
Yeah, I have another one that we're going to talk about, but let me see which one you want to hear.
I'm curious of what the game of the year is. What exactly the description of game of the year is, how they figure it out. That's very interesting to me. Because there's so many different types of metrics. Like, do you sell the most? Have you been in the news the most? Have you had the least amount of returns? Like, what is
So
the
their
metric?
description for game of the year was maybe it was its immersive gameplay or its gripping story, its well-crafted characters, immaculate design, or addictive multiplayer. Whatever the reason, the winner of this year's Game of the Award is an instant Game of the Year award is an instant classic.
So it's not as it's sort of open-ended
Yeah.
on there.
No.
Okay.
I think it's
All
supposed
right.
to just
And
be
then-
like paradigm shifting for like the gaming industry.
Okay. Fair.
If you'd like the list of finalists for the Labor of Love, it was Red Dead Redemption 2, Rust, Deep Rock Galactic, Apex Legends, and Dota
Dude.
2.
If I could have
How
had
did
any
Rust-
write-in, it's Rust by a
How
long
did
shot.
Russ not take it?
Dude, that is insane, man.
They're always bringing new stuff in there, and it's still popping.
Not only
Yeah.
is it popping, we just had our little New Year's Rustathon and yeah, game rules,
Yeah.
man. We had such a fun time.
Yeah, I saw
I did
you.
so many new things. I've had so many hours in Rust, and I boot it up once a year, and I nonstop do new shit. It's awesome. Like, how
you
is
try to
that not like the definition of labor of love?
That's a good way to look at it. I saw you try to be a helicopter pilot for the first time, and you did worse than I did.
You're gonna have to pull up that footage for me to cop to that. I don't know, bro.
Are we
know-
thinking it was the paradrop, the failed paradrop? All-time clip, by the way. Check it out.
All-time
on
clip.
Mark's Twitter.
You did a paradrop?
It was something. I don't know what you would
Is there
classify it as. It was a
parachutes?
beautiful. They're a brand new feature this year, bro.
Oh snap, dude!
Oh yeah. You go to the
Damn,
moon.
I
hit
wish
the
I would have got
parachute,
in there.
Jump out of the heli. A lot of things to do, man. It was beautiful.
All right.
It was a great
You
time.
cannot redeploy though. There is no backup shoot. That is what we learned.
That was a learning experience. Yes.
That'll come next year.
Labor of love, baby. What was this other
Okay.
category, Abe?
That would be the category for most innovative gameplay. So once again, let me read the description for you. The designers of this game are at the front lines of creative experimentation, bringing a fresh perspective and brain-breaking surprise. This game delighted, inspired, and entertained with newness never played before. It went to Starfield.
Isn't that a troll game? Isn't that?
Not a troll. It wasn't intended to be a troll game,
But
but
isn't it?
it's.
If
I'll
you
tell
have
this,
any
it's mostly
self-respect,
negative.
yeah.
Yeah.
What the heck?
I don't know, bro.
And now they just got a big boost in sales from being on
But
the
that's
front
the thing.
page.
It's like this is what it comes down to, man. It's all about like
Politics.
it is. That's part of it, but it's also like these massive companies have the most weight when it comes to these categories. You know what I mean? Like you throw a Bethesda game in a category like that, people vote for it just because it's Bethesda. They enjoyed an experience once upon a time. They're not actually voting on, is this exact game right for this category? It's just not the way it works because people, well, they're stupid, Slum. It's unfortunate, but like it takes like an amount of effort to like vote on these appropriately. And the thing is like not many. Here's the real reality. I'm definitely like that. Saying they're stupid isn't jest. The reality is that normal people, don't have the free time to play all the things that I play or a lot of people like me play.
Correct.
And it's like, how do you even make an appropriate choice when you like basically covering all your bases and having played everything in a game category would have been a full-time job that no one is doing. Nowhere are you interested in on like the multiple genres that are in like a part of these voting categories. You know what I mean? Like some of these span like tons of stuff.
Unless they go to Markstrom and Slum's Rotten Squashes.
Rotten squashes.
What squashes?
I like that.
They look at all the reviews on the games and the developers and the insights, and they can make an educated buying decision.
What? I'm just saying. I've been thinking of this concept. Right? I've been sleeping on it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then what if we call it like something certified fresh?
Yeah.
But like
that's what I said the first time.
Certified bidet.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wait, what is certified bidet?
Ty and Tushy is a sponsor?
Yeah. I mean, listen, we could do a lot of things here.
That's a tricky name. But I just got what you meant.
You know, top tier, bidet. Second tier, wet wipe. Third tier, 3-ply. Fourth tier, 1-ply. You know,
I mean,
fifth
bro,
tier,
this
website
can be built in 30 minutes.
Yeah. I'm just saying we should bang this out.
Oh my God. Why can't
Are
I
you
remember
really
the name of
saying
the
that
movie
though?
now?
Because I can get my guy on it.
Me drinking this delicious cup of coffee, feeling the most energized I felt all day.
Yeah.
Shout out Closet Coffee. Non-official sponsor of the broadcast. Has me feeling.
If they were, they'd be mad that you keep messing up their name.
Has me feeling.
What?
Like it's a yes. Like we should build this, but
Let's
it's probably the coffee talking. You got to get me in the right state of mind.
All right, I'll get you in the right state of mind.
All right.
We'll build it. Coming soon. Don't let. Is anyone listening? Because if they are, we gotta freaking ban them and scrub the internet. Because this is $1 million idea, dude.
You want to scrub the internet? I got bad news.
What happened?
There ain't no scrubbing of the internet, my friend. Good luck.
Ay.
Demolition Man. I was thinking of the shell from Demolition Man. That should be the bottom
the 3
tier.
seashells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plum, you know about the 3 seashells?
I know
I
that
can't even
you
say
have to
it,
wipe.
bro.
You have to wipe your ass with them, right?
That's right.
Yeah, nobody knows how, though.
What do you mean you scoop it?
They never describe in the movie what you're supposed to do.
You don't need everything painted to you, dude. Use your imagination.
Yeah, but do you use 2 shells to like scoop it from
If
each
you
side?
need
and
to,
hold it?
yes.
Action, bro.
If you
Yeah.
need to. If one's good, then you're good. That's why you have 3 too.
You
Because
think they're 3 different sizes?
I think they're different types of shell. Do they show you this? Do they show
What's
you
the
the
defining
shells?
characteristic between the 3
see
shells
if I
that
can
makes
see
One
it.
is a
Picture
nice,
of it.
is your typical half perfectly symmetrical shell.
Okay.
One, it might be like a hermit crab for those heavy duty jobs. And then one might be one of those like super rough ones to scrub off that from yesterday stuff.
So
know,
that's
they're all the same.
what Starfield will be getting. That one right there.
They look the
For
same.
clarity. Because the game itself is definitely from yesterday. Let me be
They're
very
all-
clear. I've seen the footage. Like,
We're looking at 3 perfectly similar silver seashell. Oh my gosh.
That's hard to say. That's why I haven't been saying.
Fine.
Similar silver seashells. There we go.
good for you, man. Glad you nailed that.
All right, enough seashell talk. What do we
I mean-
got next?
Yeah, it hit us with next because I'll be honest, man. This just comes down to some things just shouldn't be voted on by the user base. I'm okay with like a overall, just like the fan award. I think that makes sense. But some of these categories are ridiculous. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Which one would be ridiculous to you besides the labor of love? I think that's a good concept.
the
it's gotta be
fact that
done
there
right.
are 6 games as a potential option, and one of them's a game that stopped getting support in 2022, and this is the 2023 Game Awards. That's what I find ridiculous. So,
Okay, fair enough.
not right,
Fair enough.
not right. What do
Well,
we got?
for-
Ed?
Best
this
best game you
next one,
suck at, by the way. Best game you
Yeah.
suck at.
Most of them, if you're me. If you for this next one, I found this really cool chart that I wanted to share with you guys that kind of looks at the past 50 years of gaming revenue
Okay.
and shows you kind of introduction of certain things and what platforms are making the most money.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I'll bring it up over here. Can you see that? Maybe
Yeah,
I'll
let
make
me
it
grab
a
this.
little touch
Boom.
bigger. That's going out. Okay, why is that going out? I was trying to zoom in.
Control scroll.
Oh, too much.
Boom.
Good.
He's in there.
There we go. Perfect.
Beautiful.
It starts off with like
Holy
the introduction of games, and you can see most of the revenues come in from arcades until really console and PC start picking up.
Yeah.
There's some things on here that I like to highlight. Obviously, mobile gaming started coming into play with the iPhone really pushing it,
Mhm.
but right around here.
I don't think the people
Okay.
can see your cursor, so you have to-
Dude.
They can't. So then we'll see right around where it says 2017, you'll see that mobile
Okay.
gaming really skyrockets and pushes kind of everything else blown out of the water.
Holy cow.
That was when Fortnite introduced the Battle Pass
Yeah.
and popularized the Battle Pass.
Yeah,
and
that
then
checks
after
out.
that, mobile gaming skyrocketed to the point where actually, if you combined all other revenue generation in the industry, it doesn't even eclipse what mobile gaming brings to the table. And we talk a lot on this podcast about why the gaming industry is dying a slow death.
Mm.
I think this explains it pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's definitely part of it. I mean, the amount of money that is available here in the gaming space is just astronomical, right? We see it's definitely been exponential in growth, significantly. I mean, a shout out to our friend Monster D-Face, as a creator and getting started with doing, certain activations. He was always a massive proponent of like, hey, listen, there's value in being a part of the mobile space because the mobile industry is absurd, right?
Yeah.
And really it comes down to some less than ideal business practices that they put inside of their game, right? A lot of it is gotcha content, a lot of it is loot boxes, a lot of it is pay for convenience, pay to win. There's a lot that's there. In different games, you know, you have to figure out where's your line in the sand, and then do your due diligence and figure out, you know, what is in this game. Is it a meaningful experience? Is it a meaningful time? Do the devs understand that they are who they are? Are they okay with you showing it in a certain light? Because I've had activations like that too. Shout out Raid Shadow Legends. It's a mobile game. It's a gotcha game. It's got a lot of those mechanics, but they love the fact that creators meme on it. They don't care at all, and it's a part of the process. And honestly, it is to this day my highest grossing like single day activation ever. So very, very interesting stuff. I'm sorry?
You're welcome.
What? Why are you?
Because I made that fire ad for you.
Made the fire ad for
Remember?
me.
I was in my robe and I was like, dude, even I can download this game.
Oh, that is so true. That
Yeah.
was fire,
That was
bro.
really good.
That was good.
Yeah, bro. Let's go, dude.
Wow.
I'm not saying that had direct correlation. I'm busting your balls.
Jeez.
But
No, it's all some. No, you're
Javi,
right.
Javi has been talking to me about it too. Monster D Face, and he was like, mobile industry is gigantic, and he was really big on like partnering with one of his buddies who is a big mobile gamer guy. And I was like, I'm new to that world, but this chart blows my mind. And you know what else blows my mind? You're probably going to get there, Abe, but that sliver that you barely see, even though it's behind the whole red thing, it's still taking up that same surface area, but it's even coming up higher. That yellow sliver up there, dude.
Yeah, the VR is interesting because it was introduced in 2016, and you can see. So the other thing to highlight here too is that 2022 was a huge year of revenue in the gaming industry due to the pandemic and the issues that were caused for people staying inside. And I really don't think VR got it right until about 2022. That's when like it actually felt usable. I know there's a lot of people that still get sick and stuff when they use it, but like it actually felt like a usable product at that time. And you're already seeing, you know, basically went from nothing to 5 billion in revenue.
Crazy.
I find a lot of this correlates with tech innovation, right? I mean, you talk about the VR. 2017 when Fortnite came out on the phone, that like as soon as you could start playing like a battle royale like PUBG or Fortnite on your phone, that was huge. Like that was a big turning point. We saw a lot of like gaming phones actually get, you know, introduced, like the Asus one. There's quite a few on the market now. And what you are capable of doing on the phone is like, honestly, it's better than gaming experiences you would have on like a real console like 10 years ago. And that is crazy.
I can't even comprehend. I can't comprehend how you build in Fortnite on a phone. I can't even comprehend how you do it in PC, but like the phone.
Yeah,
and you have to do it so fast.
Yeah, I mean, the intricacies are definitely kind of crazy. I'm sure it takes a level of dexterity that is certainly impressive. Yeah, I think that like the tech is definitely a big part of it. What's interesting to me is does this graph go past 2022?
It doesn't. They haven't updated it for the current year. Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be a depressing downturn because 2023 was perhaps the single worst year ever in the history of the gaming industry.
Really?
Yeah, by a long shot. And there's some really interesting reasons why. It was really bad for creators in general too, for like activations, like on that side of things, because obviously like the post COVID is when a bunch of games finally came out. COVID slowed down release for a bunch of things, so everything got delayed during that time, right? And as a result, anticipation was through the roof for these titles. There were a select bunch that came out, and while it was really good for the consumer because they finally got these games, and these companies basically they could just skip marketing, so that had a negative effect because they're not doing any ads or activations. They don't have to for creators specifically, and for management and middlemen.
Okay.
So big companies pulled back on marketing. They didn't need it. Then the small companies that actually needed to market and spent money marketing, they had little to no sales and ended up with massive layoffs because the consumer spent their gaming budget on all these AAA titles that this is a Bethesda title. This is a, you know what I'm saying? XYZ title that they were really pogged up to buy. They spent it. Done. And we'd all know how the economy was in general. The amount of disposable income for consumers in general was way lower. Right. And so
during the
2023.
lockdowns?
No. 2023. Yeah.
This is when the stimmies were
all
over.
Post.
Okay. Yeah. For
all
sure.
This is post.
Yeah.
Activations were few and far between, right? Because these other games, like, despite marketing, they had no sales, so they couldn't continue to push their game. More companies this year had massive layoffs than any other year I can imagine. Like, if you just paid attention to like gaming industry Twitter over the last like 6 to 8 months, it is depression simulator central. It is bad, bro. Every single post is, hey, you know, just like that, out of a job. Or it's, hey, my friend at this company, I can vouch for them. Hey, if you were a part of this group of layoffs, let us know. We'll try and do what we can. And like, that was it. Like, it's nice that the gaming industry is, you know, on a positive note. It feels good that everyone's really supportive of people who work in the industry and is looking to get them like resituated and rehomed, which feels good. But dude, it was just nonstop. There's not enough homes. We're out of homes.
It wasn't just small companies either.
No,
we talked
big
about it
companies
previously.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, there were some large ones that had massive layoffs. So that being said, I mean, you pair that with like AAA companies that decided this year that they are going to pair with some of the shittier, bare bones middlemen of the marketing agencies out there, like WeHype or Lurkit, both absolute bottom of the barrel offers for creators. Like, they take massive percentages of these deals and then they give it to like mid to low tier creators for like pennies on the dollar. And it's like, it's the biggest scam because they exploit the fact that these creators don't know what they're worth. They have no idea. It's like everyone's first activation, they're getting scammed. Like, horrifyingly. It's bad, bro. And so you have this going on, and AAA companies that pair with them are the ones to blame, right? Because like, they know that they are getting, it's like this weird, embarrassing thing. They're playing for the short term, which we've just, you know, talked to death in the past about how that's never the right move. But they're playing for the short term in the sense of they get to save money by going to these instead of real management companies that work with real professional creators that will provide the game and, you know, in a way that is actually worth watching, right? And so instead, they basically give money to these middlemen to exploit low tier creators that aren't there yet and don't have like the skills necessary to represent the game in a meaningful way. And as a result, like, they get way worse return. Like, they saved money, but the long term is not ideal, right? And so everybody loses here. Then on top of this, you have Twitch drop campaigns like support a creator, where they realized, hey, we just work with Twitch now. Twitch will take a cut of, they realize that they can get a part of marketing budgets now if they just give people like, you can have this skin if somebody with 2 gifted subscriptions, you can get this skin in this game. And then they basically attract gravitationally every single creator to that game for that day because they're looking for their subscriptions, and they get the jump to the top of the list in the categories. And everyone wins except for creators who, you know, it's part of their job to do activations.
How do you, so you said a lot of stuff there, but I want to pull one thing out when you said,
thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
when you said take advantage of creators who don't know their worth.
Yep.
So how do you, just a side note, Cafe Colazzo, when we partner with creators, we're positioning ourselves to give them like the biggest split we can. We're just one company.
Right.
So how do you, one, incentivize more of that type of stuff? And then two, how do you, I'll phrase this question differently. When did you and how did you learn?
You might cut out
Personally.
there for a sec. Sorry.
Sorry about that. When did you learn and how did you learn your work for you to have this power to be like, nah, I'm not doing that activation. I'm going to make pennies. It's not worth my time. Like,
you do your due diligence and you figure out what the industry standard is, right? You look, there are people that provide formulas all the time. You can reach out to management companies that will give you all of that basic information if they're meaningful management companies. Shout out to mine. I honestly, SideQuest has been phenomenal, and they are one of the few stand-up ones out there. They are not all created equal. That's like a word of warning. They're not all created equal. There's a bunch of them that, work with very few creators, if any, and they are like one-man operations looking to make a buck off of other people's hard work. So please beware if you reach out to anyone. The reality is that you should be looking to talk to people who work with them. That should be step one, is talk to the creators that are part of whatever, management corral exists, and figure out what other creators around you are getting paid who are in the same category or, hover around the same metrics that you hover around. And then it's about figuring out, can I position myself in a way using my strengths or package pieces of content that makes sense that can increase my worth, right? And so it's like, it's a very fluid thing. There is not like a one and done, but I see, like, for example, Twitch is, what are they called? Twitch has campaigns for games, and they offer like 1/10 of what I would make through management. And they do this because they make a huge percentage from these gaming companies. And it is only the only people who are taking these are people who don't have representation and people who are not aware of what the actual marketing budgets are like from these gaming development studios.
So are you saying that that's exploitative, what Twitch is doing? Because I would say at least it's giving you something. If you want to go do the work and look outwards and figure stuff out, go for it. We're not saying you can't. However, if you want this silver-plated 10% real quick, feel free.
It's exploitative in the sense where Twitch has figured out a way to nickel and dime the creator at every turn. Any piece of the pie that they do not get a portion of, they have figured out how to get a piece of the pie. And it always comes at the expense of the people who give their platform life. And that is an unfortunate side effect. That being said, people are not, people should hold themselves accountable to do what's right for them at all times, right? Again, I use the word due diligence a lot, personal responsibility a lot, because it matters and it's important. But to do it, to go ahead and not provide, I understand it's a business, but you can still do business and provide a fair rate. 1/10 of the going rate is not it. And again, it only works for them because they are targeting people who are inexperienced. It's that specific means of targeting that is gross. That's a massive turnoff.
Well, so did I tell you the first time that I got paid to shoot a music video?
Hit me.
So when I started out, I had no proof that I could do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I did free stuff. built a portfolio. Then I got the balls to actually try to charge someone. So there was a rapper that I worked with, and I was like, I'll do a music video for you. And I charged him 500, and he talked me down to 300 to do this music video. I knew how complicated it was going to be. I knew how many hours it was, and it was not even going to be close to what I would value my time at currently. And not only that, the video was taking place in Camden, New Jersey. For those of you who are not familiar with that, it's a pretty, it's been voted the most dangerous city a few times in America. Yeah. In a convenience store, and they wanted to point guns at the camera. And so I tried to do my due diligence, and I checked the firearms before we did that. The 2 that they showed me, I checked them. But then all of a sudden, there just popped out more. So they're pointing these guns at the camera, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll still do this. So I took a $300 music video, risked my life, and this was probably the stupidest thing that I've ever did. Risked my life in Camden, got guns pointed at me, didn't know if they were loaded or not, for $300 because I didn't have anything else. So when I look at this, it's like if you're just starting and you see something that I could do this, let me see if I can actually do something here. Let me see if I can, yeah, the split's crap, but let me see what I can do. I don't have any other offer.
The difference in this scenario is that you represent yourself and you're trying to acquire a skill that you don't know that you have.
Yeah, which is a bunch of what these people on Twitch are.
Twitch is the one getting paid, and they don't give a flying F whether or not the activation is what the company is looking for. They don't care at all. They are not a part of the process. And it's not even a matter of quality. These are offered to people who hit the 75 concurrent viewer partnership, which is one of the reasons why they opened it up so much more significantly and undermined what it means to be a Twitch partner, etc. We don't even have to get into that discussion, but they did it so that they can sell at large a scam to where they're scamming the developers. Because these aren't professional broadcasters that are doing the activation. There's no standards quality when it comes to it.
Do you think they're aware of that when they do this type of thing?
Do you think the
developers are, that when they talk with Twitch about doing something like this, Twitch is like, look, we can't guarantee you. We can say these creators hit these certain metrics, but we can't guarantee you that
every single person down the line is being lazy and not doing due diligence, right? So if the dev says, hey, we can do this at lower cost by going through Twitch, and they make that choice, their marketing budget is getting pissed away, right? And so they're like, oh yeah, we'll save some money here and we'll do it this way, where they could have spent the same amount and just given it to fewer creators that would do a good job, where they could have gotten way more return on investment, right? But again, that requires them to do their homework.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So all the way down the line is just people being lazy and trying to schmaz the next person. That's not good business, and it should be condemned. It's not savvy in any way, shape, or form. They're dumbasses. No good business is getting done here. The games are not well represented. Twitch is taking the lion's share of the juice without doing anything. All they did was they threw people at it. It's like Russia going to war, man. It's literally conscription. They open up the gates of, all right, now you at a lower age can qualify to become a soldier.
Yeah, but they're not making you be a soldier.
No. It's not a gunpoint kind of thing.
Is
not a gunpoint kind of thing.
No one's making the Twitch streamers.
They're moving the goalpost so that they can flood it, so that they can exploit it. And I just find the entire thing shitty. You know what I mean?
I understand why you find it shitty. I guess I would just say it's up to them if they want to do shitty business.
Mm-hmm.
And let them do shitty business if they want to. I don't think people are being taken advantage of that sign up for this.
Oh, they 100%
I don't think.
And
I
it's
think
my
they know what
job
they're
as
signing
someone
up
who
for.
has the experience in the industry to tell these creators, don't take these activations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Then what else do you have to tell them then? Like you have to tell them, do this work, do all this work, do that. That's great. Absolutely. I agree with that.
Well, then they can choose to listen or not. But it's my job to at least provide them with the knowledge that, hey, don't work with WeHype or Lurk It or do the Twitch activations.
Absolutely.
There are so many better options, and there are real people that you can create relationships with. You can reach out personally with a pitch deck to the community managers of the companies that you feel some kind of special way about. You want to make a good impression, that's how you do it. You give them all the information that they need, and you explain to them the value that you can bring to their product, game, etc. Right?
I agree.
And it's worth it. I promise you it's worth it. Even if you're not at a size right now where it feels worth it for that company to work with you, you start that good relationship now. And the amount of times that things come around years later just because you took the time to do the right thing and make the right impression on somebody, and it comes around in a positive way, is countless. And this game industry, for as like much money as it makes, is pretty small when it comes to the people who work for these companies. And it's important to have good rapport with as many as possible because you never know, you know. Not to mention that, but the people who work at these companies, like they all talk too. So if you're not out there representing yourself in the best way possible, it could have a lot of negative repercussions as well, you know, on the other side of things. So something to think about. And
definitely something to think about.
Yeah. So hopefully that is helpful to someone out there. But it's also one of those things that, like, if you reached out to me personally, I'm happy to give you more information. So, there's always been people in this industry that have been really kind and generous with their knowledge. And I think you can tell that I feel very compelled to try and do the same. Because there's not enough of it, especially in this industry these days. It was rough back then. It's way worse now. So people are super guarded with this stuff, and it's not necessary.
And I'm gonna err on this. You said something about these creators not knowing their worth and being taken advantage of. So if you're erring on the side of these creators are worth something, which a lot of them are, I'm going to err on the side of be extremely realistic with yourself. If you're, because a lot of people out there are not worth what they think they're worth.
That's true.
So the best thing you can do is be realistic with yourself and then set realistic goals and go forward with them. Everything Markstrom just said is very valuable. And you always start to meet people. Absolutely. But you might not even be in the level where you're like, I'm going to ask that guy to do an activation. You might not be there, but you can go up and chat with him. Be realistic with yourself, because if you're not pulling those numbers yet, it might not even be time for you to do activations and stuff like that. Like, just keep going and doing what you're doing and still meet the people that Markstrom's talking about. Go chat with them. Just create good relationships. And then, to be honest, that stuff will kind of gravitate towards you.
Yeah, I think also, like, people compensate for their lack of metric a lot of the time with the quality of their content. There are ways to do activations for people that are just above and beyond what a company may think is what they're looking for. And a lot of the times, like, they are incredibly appreciative of the creator who goes above and beyond. And because oftentimes they're paying top dollar for a creator at the top, and 95% of the time, the creator at the top does the least amount of effort and puts the least amount of thought into the activation. And it comes off very lazy.
It's like being with a big girl. They appreciate it more.
Huh? So that's a jump.
All right.
Oh my gosh, it's not a jump though, for real.
I'd ask you to elaborate, but I think I'm good.
That's an interesting way to look at it too, though, because nowadays, maybe there are some devs and marketing teams that are like, yeah, we have these big name budgets that we can give, but also let's divest a little bit and put some money in these no names, because viral clips from this guy are extremely possible, because he's doing all this weird green screen stuff and he's funny. No one knows about him, but a viral clip from him is definitely possible. So maybe we'll put some change over there. And maybe this guy, like, he's doing some really interesting stuff. He's got no views right now, but there is some extreme possibility that this guy does something that no one else does, and maybe we want to get in on the ground floor. That's also an interesting way to look at it.
There's magic in the middle.
Magic in the middle.
There's magic in the middle.
And there's also Malcolm.
There's also Malcolm. I find that creators who are in the middle have shown a level of professionalism that's necessary. They have the experience necessary. And when I say the middle, I'm referring to like concurrent viewership in the grand scheme of things on Twitch. And they have more meaningful connections with their viewership. It is way more akin to taking a recommendation from a friend than it is a celebrity. And the larger you go, it just becomes a celebrity endorsement. And listen, nobody out there is drinking Sprite because LeBron drank Sprite. You know what I mean? That's not the way it works. You know, it keeps Sprite in like the public arena, but that is the value of the celebrity endorsement. And that's it. Is to
Brand
have
awareness,
a semi-relevant awareness campaign. Right?
Yeah.
And but when your favorite creator, who's a mid-sized creator that responds when you type in their chat, right, knows about your day-to-day, knows what you do for a living, right, because you're showing up, and they tell you to check something out, odds are you're going to check it out. And the companies that work with creators at that range, by and large, have the most success with their marketing, and they know it. And it feels good to be one of those creators and to be appreciated in that regard, because I've taken the time to be open and honest and build that relationship with my community over the years, right? They go super hard on things that I feel strongly about, that I choose to work with because of the work that's gone into that relationship. And no large creator is making anybody feel that way. And it just and that's like totally normal, right? It's not their fault. It's just that level is just, it's a different thing. It's a completely different thing, and it impacts marketing a ton.
And to also, we've done some innovative shit with your channel too. So we are one of those people, one of that crew as well. And I've seen people steal our ideas. For sure. So yeah, do people, and which is also, that is the nature of the beast as well. People will steal your ideas, and you take that as a compliment.
Just gotta
that
stay
means you're
a step
doing
ahead,
something
right?
Right. Dang, we went way sideways on that conversation. I enjoyed it.
That's nice,
but,
though.
Oh my gosh. Hey, where are we at? Or do we have time for more stuff?
I got plenty of more stuff. We
Give us one more, bro.
We got some time. Well, then let's.
Oh, dude, there's so many more things.
Well, let's do this. Let's try and fit two more, and let's start with this next one, because you talked about a lot of stuff that I think, being a professional gamer and stuff can be a little bit more taxing on you than you might realize, especially with all those things that you need to consider in your personal life and also your professional life, and how to not be taken advantage of. So I'll bring this one up. So Team Liquid has gone through a big transformation recently with their roster, and one of them was a new coach. Yeah, for Counter-Strike, sorry, specifically. And one of them was a new coach who's actually a mind and body wellness expert. It's a Mind Body Esports. It's done a lot of work in the industry, and I thought it would be cool to talk about this one and kind of get your take on that side of the equation when it comes to, you know, content creation and professional gaming.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a huge proponent of, you know, healthy mind, healthy body. I think that 100% applies to esports. I think a lot of these teams that take care of themselves and spend time, you know, making sure that they are exercising and are definitely more definitely have more mental acuity. And um it's interesting too because the a lot of the times in esports these are like young kids and they don't have like the most mental fortitude, and you can see that some people kind of like crumble in the moment when like the pressure is really built up. And it's interesting to see uh some specific players work with these mental coaches over time to basically like develop their ability to show up in the moment and be clutch and go through the exercises that are needed, right? To put themselves in the right mental, framework to perform at the best of their abilities. And it's been something that like I've always thought was like incredibly important. Like, I mean, we've seen like as someone who's like follows sports religiously, it's interesting to see like someone get the yips, you know what I mean? And then it's like this like mental block where they just can't get past it. Like, I mean, there's been a bunch of examples, but like the one I always think of is like Charles Barkley with the hitch in his swing when he's playing golf. And I think of that one because it's funny, right? Like,
Yeah,
it
it's
was
hilarious.
brutal to look at.
That hitch is gone.
That hitch is gone now because he worked with a coach that got his mind right, not his body right. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong. He's a professional athlete. He can swing a golf club. But yeah, it's all mental. And so when it comes to esports, and it's like, it's a thinking man's game. Like, obviously you have finger dexterity and whatnot, and like arm aiming. But outside of that, you're sitting in a chair. It's really easy to overlook that kind of thing. So I love when someone brings in somebody to, provide a different perspective to some of these kids that may not be thinking about their physical fitness a lot of the time and how that can have a positive impact on their gameplay.
I think that I think mind body wellness and like all that stuff has kind of been hijacked a little bit.
For
almost,
sure.
Almost like the term like manifest.
Because you can
Manifest is such a good term when used accurately and when like realistically. But like people are like, I'm just gonna manifest it and sit on their couch and do nothing. Like it's been hijacked, almost like this mind body stuff. But like think of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson had a guy next to him. You're the greatest. You're the best. Always telling him this stuff. Yep. He said a lot of other stuff that we probably can't say in this. But like, just imagine that. Imagine you had a guy who was getting your mind right when you had doubts. No, dude, you don't have you're the best. You're literally the best. Don't doubt yourself.
Rose Namajunas.
It is so crucial. So any realm, any business, any sport, that role is absolutely crucial. So if this guy's doing it right, that's amazing. But if he's busting out the jewels and the Herkimers and this one gives you
I don't think they're doing crystal therapy. I don't think they got the salt rocks out or anything like that. No, I think one of the so there's a YouTube video if you go check out like the Team Liquid YouTube, and basically they went on a retreat before they did like any like practice with each other, because some of these guys know each other, some have played with each other before, but like it's a brand new roster. One guy has not played with any of them before. It's interesting. And so there's a lot of talent on the team, but before they even like jumped into a practice together, they went on a retreat to like form meaningful relationships with one another, to have that like camaraderie, to help them show up for one another. And really it means more than just the individual. It's like that team aspect. Like you got to show up for your teammate and for them to have good chemistry going into it, because bad chemistry has killed more, esports teams, specifically CS, than anything else that I've ever seen. And so like it can obliterate like a really talented team, because there's a lot of big personalities. There's a lot of people who have big egos. We had Gino on the podcast and he specifically talked about how bad the ego problem is in something like Counter-Strike. And everyone thinks that, they're the best, their shit don't stink, and it's everyone else's fault on the team, when things are going poorly. And I think when you have that team mentality, you get way more introspective, right? What can I do to pull my weight? You know what I mean? I think that really shifts the perspective of the player. And so I really dig this kind of thing. I'm personally a big fan of a lot of these guys. I've followed their careers for quite some time. And I'm really excited, especially with some of the young talent that's on there, to see where it goes. So they actually perform in their first tournament January 22nd with Blast. So that'll be their debut as this new 5-man squad. But I'll be tuning in. I'm gonna try and reach out to Blast and actually simulcast some of it if they're cool with it. So we'll see.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. What else?
Well, you guys know I love my medical breakthroughs.
All right.
Let's go.
Especially when we're tackling
Good news.
diseases that plague a lot of people. This is a good news one.
Hell yeah.
So there's been a new breakthrough in diabetes research that could actually lead to the eventual removal for the need for injectable insulin. So if you're big pharma, please stop listening for this next part because I don't want you to crush this. I know how much money insulin makes you and the sale of insulin,
Well,
especially in
the
the United
thing is
States.
I feel like Mark Cuban's like working on crushing them. So
Yeah, which is
Good.
so interesting to me
why is that?
So somebody needs to
because
crush
he's big entrepreneur. I'm a big fan of the guy.
Yeah, but
Don't
you
get me-
gotta, I think at a certain point when you're as big as he is and he's done as well as he is, you really shift the mindset of not how much can I accumulate, but how can I leave my mark positively.
He's done some cool stuff.
And like
with
this
his
is
What
his
about
thing,
Bill
you know what I
Gates?
mean? Like I think he wants this to be his like legacy, if you will.
I don't know if you know the story too of his original platform, but he gave stock to everybody, even like the janitors in the building. And when he sold that first, I forget what it was called now, but they all profited. Like
Yeah.
everybody.
He is that
worked there
kind of guy,
profited.
man. I do think that I've always liked the way that he conducts himself. Also just like a big family guy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Everyone like I think Barbara from Shark Tank specifically has like talked publicly about how he's just like the absolute ideal husband to his wife and just someone that has as much money and power and is tempted with all these like shitty things in the world. He's always kept his head on straight and done right by his family, which is really cool to hear. So
That is
Well,
cool.
shout out Cubes. We know you're listening. So
yeah, true.
so with
mad.
this particular research, what they found basically is they can use existing cancer medications. So these are already approved by the US FDA cancer
That's big.
medications that allows them to essentially take your remaining pancreatic cells and influence the cells to behave like insulin producing beta cells. So essentially, with type 1 diabetes, you basically don't produce enough insulin, which leads to the need for pumps. These days, pumps for the insulin to automatically regulate, monitors to check your glucose levels, all these different things. This would actually cause your body itself to produce the insulin, not relying on outside things like pumps, like monitors to track,
Right.
and actually remove the need for people to need to inject the insulin. And it is also showing to help with type 2 as well. So it kind of, not as much on the type 2 front, but is really beneficial in that place. So there's a lot of tech that gets involved in this, but not really. The tech isn't what they're relying on. The medical research is what is going to be helping these people moving forward, even though there's been amazing advancements in diabetes tech when it comes to said pumps and glucose monitors and stuff.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like when you're still reliant on the insulin itself, like the mass produced pharma insulin, it's like you're still relying on them and the way that they set the costs and the way that we've seen that has skyrocketed, right? And it's kind of funny because it's like it's one of those just like humanity equilibrium things, right? And I feel like big pharma got so greedy and they just blasted the cost of a very widespread, like the necessary medication for a very widespread disease, right? They skyrocketed it unnecessarily, and now we see all these things happening that are like going to tear down their kingdom, so to speak, right? Whether it's Mark Cuban or it's brand new breakthrough so that people don't actually need to acquire medication, like their body will naturally self-regulate. So that's a massive feels good, man. It's kind of cool when it works out that way,
Yep. And they're moving to animal testing now, so they're making really good progress. So fingers crossed on this one. That's going to help a lot of people. Especially, there's a lot of kids that are born with type 1. That's a struggle to learn how to maintain that stuff for yourself at an early age. It puts a lot of responsibility on kids. So to me, this is a win across the board if this one works out. This is really positive, cool news to see on the medical front.
Did you, without Googling this, do you guys know the countries that Big Pharma is allowed to advertise in?
No.
Probably just the United States.
Close. 2 countries. The United States and New Zealand.
New Zealand. Interesting.
New Zealand. Yep. So, and also my dad had diabetes, Abe, so this is good stuff to hear. My dad used to rock his freaking pump clip to his shirt.
Yeah.
I guess he was making his weakness his strength by throwing it out there, just like keeping it straight in front of people.
He stays pumped up.
And did he have type 1? Because I mean, I'm sure like the pump's relatively
What's
new.
the one that you're born or not born with?
That's type
like,
1 is what you're born with.
Is type 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, back in the day, you had to lug around like a cooler full of injectables.
Yeah, that's what he had to. He used to have to do shots.
Yeah, I mean, it was brutal. A brutal disease to deal with.
Yeah. One day he had these needles that you would put in, and then the blood would kind of drain. I guess you'd put something like a syringe on that or something, or your insulin tube. So you just keep the needle in, and then the insulin tube would go in or whatever. I got stung by mud wasps, and my hand swelled up like a bee. Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Dude, let's see if it drains." And he hit me with one of those needles and kept it in, and nothing happened. Dude, you just stabbed me with a freaking needle, and nothing's happening. This stuff doesn't drain; it's just swollen. He's like, "Yeah, but it'd be cool if it did, though."
You imagine what would have come out of that? Ugh.
Just like yellow ooze.
Yeah.
But also, wouldn't these drugs also have to get approved for this use, though?
Correct.
So,
that's what they're working on now. That's why they're doing animal testing. But significant hurdle to not have to have the drugs themselves go through the FDA approval process. And there's no telling. I mean, like, if this comes out and it's successful, Lord knows what those drugs start costing, because that's always the other thing that you have to worry about when it comes to removing the cost of the insulin. But more alternatives should at least keep the price more regulated and not quite as high.
Let them compete with each other.
Yeah.
We love that.
Let them compete, dude. I like it. A little competition. Maybe no more advertising in America. That would be crazy. That would be
then you wouldn't get those cool side effect things they read off.
That's true. That is a huge upside, is like the guy that speeds past like potential cause of death at the end.
The side effects are worse than the symptom.
It's always like if you have a stroke, you should go to the doctor. It's like, oh shit.
It is cool too when it's like it's a medication you're on. Like every time I see Dupixent, I was like, oh, shout out my boy Dupixent. You know what I'm saying? It's nice.
You also wouldn't get the Kelsey Pfizer commercial. $20 million for they make a lot of money, dude.
Yeah.
You could pay a guy $20 million to run a commercial.
People like health, bro. As it turns out.
People like money.
It's almost like if you require it to not die.
Right. People are willing to pay for it. Yeah.
That's probably how they think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, a whole lot of people are going to die if they don't buy this. We're going to make millions.
Yep.
That's messed up. God damn.
Messed up, but that's the way she goes, man.
Anyway, this has been a freaking wonderful, wonderful conversation. I really did enjoy this.
Oh yeah.
We haven't talked about like that kind of stuff, not the medical stuff, like the business and the streaming stuff in a while. I like that stuff.
I love it. It's my life.
So you just wrapped up a big Rustathon.
Yes, sir.
What else is coming? I know there's a big thing coming. I don't know if you want to.
Deep.
What do you got?
Baby Watch 2024. You ready to be Uncle Dominic or what?
I'm ready. I'm so ready, dude.
That's nice. I like that.
So ready. I'm gonna be the best uncle ever.
Can't wait for little Chuck.
Logi's gonna be fighting you for it, but that's for
isn't that the name?
I'm
Chuck?
not naming my kid Chuck. That is not a good joke.
I would gladly embrace Logie fighting me to be best uncle.
That's nice. Yeah, that's a lucky kid then.
Yeah.
He doesn't even need an excuse to take off his shirt then.
My brother has
I never see his shirt on.
Taking off his shirt, in the words of the wise, bare naked ladies. Yeah. So yeah, man, just really, kind of playing things by ear. We have a really cool event tomorrow. I'm starting a co-op run of Elden Ring with Sean. and we have the game modded where we can both like be in the world together and do everything together seamlessly. So it's a little seamless co-op mod. So that'll be fun. And then Friday is FBF, so we get a little drink on, enjoy some media share, we'll have a little party. First Friday of the month, we always do that. But other than that, man, I'm kind of just taking things day by day. We're about a week out from the due date, and so it could be any day. Time will tell. Time will tell. But if you want to swing through for a little Elden Ring, twitch.tv/Markstrom. We'll be there Thursday, Friday.
There it is.
Yes, sir.
Abe, how about you, dude?
Well, I'm excited for Baby Watch. Can't wait to watch our streamer grow into a father. It's gonna be exciting. It also means, by the way, everybody out there could be a random plugged cancellation one of these days if the baby decides to come at a particular time.
Yeah, schedule is pending for the podcast currently.
I'll be moderating the chat as always. Looking forward to the Elden Ring. It's a great game, so that one should be a good one. Also for FBF, I'm sure we'll be donating some videos. Maybe the Northern Boys make another appearance. Who knows?
Shout out.
But yeah, that's what I got on lock for this week.
Good stuff, dude. And my name is Dom or Slum, whatever you want to call me. I run a production company. You can find us at lts.media. That's licensed to shoot, like James Bond, licensed to kill. We make some crazy stuff. We also just launched our coffee company, so make sure you go check out cafecayazo.com and buy some coffee. And then also, if you want to yell at anyone he just changed. Want to yell at someone? 3 screens, the entire podcast. Yell at Markstrom. This has been an absolute wonderful.
Who's gonna tell him that his mic cut out that entire time?
Was it?
And I've been changing the scene also the entire time.
No, it wasn't. I was watching the entire time. Maybe that's a Discord thing that I gotta check out. Where did I cut out?
I don't know.
Right about the part you complained about Markstrom's
right around then.
Take it up
perfect.
with Markstrom. I got receipts on it. I've been monitoring the whole time. This has been a wonderful chat. We do this every week, almost every week, unless Markstrom's having a baby. So make sure you subscribe on YouTube. You can also go on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whichever you're using. But the videos are on YouTube, and actually they're on Spotify as well. So whatever you like, whatever you want to watch, just make sure you follow us on Spotify, subscribe, and check it out. We have some great conversation. So until next time, which might be next week or might not be, we will see you guys around. Peace.
Deuces.